Kabil Banu program. This is the module on Microsoft PowerPoint. This is lesson 6, review and view. So in this video, we shall look at two additional functionalities, which is review and the other one is view. So here you would find review and this is view. So let's look at review first. So review, under review, you can have a lot of functions and features. The first is spelling, research, translate, language, comment. If you have show comments, you can compare things as well. So let's look at one by one. So just assume, so we'll just copy paste this and we'll go to a new slide and we'll try and see if we can use this particular feature of review here. We'll just increase the font size also here, so just so that you can see this much better. Let's say 19, 18, fine. So this is the passage here, and let's say that I make some mistakes here. I lives in Thane. I lives in Thane. So I'm making some mistakes purposely so that so for example, what you've done is you've created the entire presentation, right? And you want to have some final check whether you're, see, one of the worst things that can be there in a PowerPoint presentation is that you're making spelling and grammatical mistakes. Never do that. And instead of going and checking manually each and everything, what you can do is you can run a final check by going to review first and then going to spelling. So if you go to spelling, automatically Microsoft PowerPoint will tell you which are the words or which are the phrases which does not seem to be correct. And then you can see this. You can either correct it or you can ignore it. For example, Kabil is a correct name. Obviously, it is not there in Microsoft's dictionary. So I will ignore this. Fine, I'll ignore all. Harne also is not found in the dictionary, so I'll ignore this. Fine. So you can see that the spell check is complete here. Fine. So this is how you can actually spell check it. Fine. So it says, strangely, it says that there are no mistakes, although I can see several mistakes in here. So let's say, let's see if it can track some mistakes right now. So Harne, yes. So it has been able to do that right now. So what we can do is we can change this. Let's say lavender. I mean, with whatever word you want to, you can change it. And lavender. So this is how you can use the spelling. So basically, the spelling feature is there for you to have an automatic check on the spelling and grammar. And you just need to click on this and the entire presentation will be, spell checked. Then when you have research, when you talk about research, you can also, let's say, use a lot of resources. For example, dictionaries, encyclopedias, etc. So let's just click on this. I mean, this is not, very, very useful. So if you want, you can search for anything. For example, thermodynamics. You can either search in Bing or you can search in any of these things. So let's search in Bing. So while working on the presentation, you can actually search for a lot of these things, right? This is possible. You can also translate it. Translate, for example, you want to translate this particular thing. If you want to translate this to, let's say, French or German, that is possible. Fine. Ich wohne in Thane. So when I say I live in Thane, you can see here the translation. Ich wohne in Thane. I live in Thane. Fine. So this is how you can use this particular feature, and you can obviously set your language preferences here. This is not that useful. And most of you will remember from the home page and the insert page that I talked about comment, how to insert comment. So for example, I live in Thane. So if you give this to your instructor or if you give this to your friend, and he wants to point out that, okay, this is a mistake here. So how will you do that? He will insert a comment, mistake. Fine. This is how you insert a comment here. Fine. So basically, this is these are the more important features that are there in review. This is a very short thing, but nevertheless, one of the most important things is spelling. So if you know that, so basically make it a rule whenever you are making any presentation or any PowerPoint, always run a spelling engine on that, because it will give you in one shot, it will give you automatically what spelling mistakes are there, what grammatical mistakes are there. You don't need to go through each and everything manually. Fine. So let's look at view. Under view, you will first of all have these views, presentation views. These are called presentation views. Then we have something called master views. Then we have something which, for example, we can show ruler, grid lines. I'll tell you what these are. And then we can zoom the PowerPoint presentation. And then we have something related to colors, windows. Fine. The last thing is macros. We don't want to get into macros and different windows right now, because this is basically something more advanced, and you don't need that these features for the moment. Fine. So we just look at some of these features which you normally use or you would normally be using. So this is the normal view of the PowerPoint presentation as it appears to you, as it will appear to the audience. When you have the outline view, this is how it will appear, right? This is how it will appear. And when you have the slide sorter, the slide sorter will be like this. Here you can easily change the slides. For example, if you want this slide to move there, you can easily do that. If you want, you can do this. You can, if you want, you can move the slide here. This is the slide sorter. When you have, let's go to normal page. If you have the notes page, you can see the notes page here. Fine. So we'll not have the notes page right now. Let's say if you want to have a reading view. So this is how normally a book would appear, right? This is how you see a book. So this is called a reading view. Just close this. Press escape. By pressing escape, you can close this. Fine. Master view. I mean, see, what you see is the front end. Most of you are engineers, so you would understand what is back end, what is front end. So this is front end, and behind the back end there is a slide master. This is important. You just know it. I mean, you don't need to work on it thoroughly, but you should know it. Let's say, what is a slide master? For example, this particular presentation has some inbuilt design, right? So for example, if you select this design, let's say this design, it has some inbuilt design, right? Wherein if you type something, it will automatically be in some font. There are these particular designs. So automatically some things are predefined in that. And where do you find these predefined things? In the slide master. So slide master is the template. It is the final template. Can you see this? This is the final template. And if you make any changes in the final template, and so basically this will reflect in all the front end. So this is the back end, and once you make any changes in this, it will reflect in all the front end slides. So instead of changing anything manually, for example, you might have this title here. You might have this title slide here, right? Title here. So instead of, let's say this is first law. So this is currently in this particular, let's say, font. Now, in every slide, this is in this particular font. Now you want to change this automatically to, let's say, Arial. What you can do is you can go to the slide master in view. You can go to the slide master, and you can change the title here. You can change the titles here. Fine. Once you change the title here, then automatically everything will automatically get changed to Arial. You don't need to change it manually. Similarly, if you want to make any other changes which is reflected on all the slides, go to slide master, make some changes in the particular design, and then you can obviously these changes will be reflected on all the slides. Fine. So this is it, and let's move to a very basic design like this. Fine. So let's look at some more features of view. So take my word for it, you would not need slide master, handout master, notes master on that particular scale. Whenever you are working on a day-to-day basis, you don't need these things. Fine. So I'm not explaining these things in much details. It's just that you should know this. What is a slide master? Fine. One of the important things that you would need is a ruler. Can you see this ruler right now? This is the ruler here. This ruler tells you, it gives you an idea of the alignment. For example, this is currently aligned here. If you want, you can change the alignment from here. If you want to change the alignment of the bullet point, you can do it from here. So this is how you can align different things, and this is possible when you see the ruler. Now when you don't see the ruler, what you can do is go to view and click on ruler. So can you see the ruler right now? No, right? If you want to see the ruler, just go to view and click on ruler. You will see the ruler here. Fine. Sometimes it is also essential for us to have all the shapes aligned in a particular line. So for that you will use grid lines. Can you see these grid lines? So for example, I want to have this first block from here, and I want to have this bullet point starting from here, or let's say this text starting from exactly this line. So if I need this kind of an arrangement, this kind of an alignment where everything falls into line, I can use grid lines. This is good. Otherwise, if you want to just divide the presentation into four, quadrants, you can do this by guides. Generally, this is not used that much. When you talk about notes, you can add notes here. I mean, this is very easy. I told you about notes in the previous slide as well. Clearly, you don't need this for the moment now. So if you see here, you can zoom the slides by clicking here as well, right? Let's say you have 60% zoom, right? And so basically you can either zoom from here or you can zoom from here, anything that you want. Now let's say that you are at 60%, and let's say, I mean, there is a lot of space here which you can see. So this is the actual window. So if you want this PowerPoint slide to fit the actual window, this you just have to click on fit to window, and it will zoom automatically to fit the window. Fine. Now, for example, if you have, let's say, by mistake, if you have zoomed into, let's say, 160%, 140%, 124%, I mean, you have to, let's say, scroll right, or you'll have to scroll left to check everything, or you'll have to scroll left and down. Instead of doing that, you just select fit to window. When you do that, it will automatically adjust according to the window which is available here. This is a automatic way of zooming the presentation so that it fits the window. Fine. Then we have the color scale, the black and white scale, the gray scale. I mean, this has more to do with the design part. So I think it has already been covered in design, so we will not cover this again here. There are different things like windows. So for windows, you can actually have a second window for your document. So for example, you have already opened this presentation, and you want another window for that. So you can have two presentations, right? So basically you see you have two presentations which are open. The same slide is being opened in two windows. So for example, you are making some change here, but and this is left just like that, and you can start working on the other window. So this is also possible. Fine. So we'll not have the other window right now. Basically, you don't need this feature right now. You don't need this feature. If you want, you can switch windows as well. Fine. Windows has in different different points of the slide. Basically, what I'm suggesting is that you don't need windows at the moment. You don't need macros at the moment. You don't need these master views at the moment. What you need is the views, normal view, outline view. You need these things. You need zoom. You need ruler, and you need the zoom features and the fit to window features. So I hope that all of you are very clear about the review features and the view features which I have shown to you. So thank you so much for listening to this video. Thank you for your time.